Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy. We're here with Michaela from Survivor Game Changers and Millennials versus Gen X.
Yes.
Hi, Michaela. Thanks for speaking with us today.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Thanks for wanting to talk to me.
Did you consider not playing Survivor again, or was that an easy yes for you?
I considered not playing again after a day after I was voted out the first time. I wanted to play again, but I didn't necessarily want to play back-to-back immediately. Mm-hmm. I wanted to just debrief and process and go back to my life. But over the course of, the pre-jury trip, I realized if that's an opportunity that's available for me, then I need to just take it. There's no better time than the present to do something that's not a guarantee. So I just said yes.
How did your family react when you told them you were going right back out?
I don't remember how they reacted. I think I had one friend who was not excited. I know that much. I don't think my mentor was super excited that I was doing it twice because it caused me to put certain other things on hold. I think my mom was very excited. I don't think my dad was that excited because he doesn't like the idea of me being where he can't reach me. So I had some mixed levels of support going on. But, my godfather was super supportive though, and that means a lot to me too. So, the most important came through, and I ended up making a good decision by going.
What was your reaction when you first saw who the other returning players were?
I was very afraid, taken aback. Did I throw up? Yeah, I threw up the whole plane ride to Fiji.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was very nervous, and I had a little mini breakdown the night before the game started. And people saw me, and Sandra made a comment on it, actually, in one of her little interviews that she did, her pre-game interview. But I was psychologically wasn't ready. But what do you do? Like, when you're out there, you just make it happen. So I think based on where I was the night before the game started and how I ended up when my game ended, I think there was a lot of growth that happened, and I'm super glad that I did it.
Was there anyone you did or didn't want to play with?
Not directly, like coming into the game. I 100% wanted to get to know Cirie. I 100% wanted to get to know Sandra. I would say I wanted to fill everybody else out, though. But there were certain people that I just got good vibes from the beginning, and Troyzan was one of those people. I actually got great vibes from Varner at the beginning. So there were certain people like that made me feel more confident in myself. But in general, I wasn't necessarily coming in with a hit list. I just felt like I didn't need sneaky people on my team because sneakiness is not my skill.
How did the Game Changers title affect your game in the long run?
Oh, it affected it a lot because my whole strategy coming into Game Changers was to act like I wasn't good, just underestimate myself. So then when Jeff tells us the name of the season is Game Changers, I'm like, my whole plan has crumbled. Now I don't know what to do, and it just made me feel so out of the loop. But, I found a way to adjust, and it ended up being a great thing for me.
Did you change your opinion about anyone during the game?
Let's see. I wouldn't say change my opinion because most people, again, that had a blank slate. There were some people over the course of the game, I didn't like my interactions with them. I felt like they were, pushing me back, as opposed to wanting to let me in or wanting to play with me. But other than that type of thing, no, not really. I just learned that somebody can give you good vibes on a personal level, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best thing for you in this game.
Now, we've been waiting a long time to ask you this. Why only 7 drips of coffee?
Because I don't like coffee. I like sweet things. So, but, if you want the reward, you want to partake in it. And if everything that you've been eating is raw and bland, you want some sugar. So I just wanted something sweet. But, I don't care for coffee, so I didn't want to waste the coffee. But who knew that would turn into such a debacle?
So were you angry with Sandra at some point when you found out that she had set you up?
No, that made me respect Sandra even more because, again, certain people like Sandra and Cirie, they have such a handle on how to create chaos from a social perspective, how to use any little thing as a part of a strategy. And I respect that, and I admire it, and I know that that's a skill that could advance me so much in real life in certain environments, but it's a skill that I don't have yet. So I'm like, look at Sandra. She used some sugar to make a point, and just so happens that I was on the right side of Sandra's point that day, so it was JT that went home and not me.
How do you think the other players perceived you in the game, and how is it different from how you perceive yourself?
Some people just had it out against me, and I genuinely, to this day, I do not understand why. But there are just certain people that from the moment I had any interaction, from like, hello, my name is Michaela, from that moment, I gotta go in some people's minds. And it just didn't make any sense to me. And watching it back on TV, it still doesn't make any sense. And it may just be one of those things where just certain people aren't used to certain people. I don't know, but I don't know. Certain people, JT apparently, according to him, I'm lazy and I'm shiftless and stuff like that. But there's nothing that you saw for anybody to call me that. So where does it come from? I don't know. Or Sierra, I walk. Or I listen to conversations. Or Brad, I eat coconut. Like. Well, I don't know. You see me as a person who eats coconut, and I do, but I don't think that's a negative. So, I don't know what to think about that. But the people that got to know me for real, like a Ty or a Cirie or my mom or a Jeff, those are the people, or even a Zeke, those are the people I prefer to listen to their thoughts than others.
Did you ever get to discuss it with Brad since he was unhappy and how he was perceived his first time playing?
No, Brad didn't talk to me. Still to this day, Brad doesn't really talk to me, and that's cool. It's 7 billion people in the world. I'm not going to stress about one.
It feels like we missed something between you and Brad when he was accusing you of trying to blackmail him. Tell us more about it.
Sorry, I'm very expressive. I think I cut you off.
No, just go ahead and tell us more about that. What happened?
The part that you're missing is the part that I've been missing this whole time. I felt like anything that I would say to Brad, even from the simplest standpoint, he would take it as a negative. So I do recognize that I lacked tact in what I said to Brad. However, what I was essentially saying was, if you go fish, it makes you look like you're an asset to the tribe. And at the time when I said that, I knew that people were deciding between voting for Brad and Andrea, whereas earlier in the day, it was 100% Brad. So my whole thing was I didn't want people to think that Brad was out looking for idols, and that had came up. Where's Brad? We can't find him. Maybe he's looking for an idol. So I went to him trying to be like, you disappearing like this makes it look like you're looking for an idol. So if you go in the water and go fishing, one, everybody can see you, so they're not as freaked out about where's Brad. But two, you're going to come back with fish, and it makes people think twice about voting off the person that can feed you in this game. So I was trying to help Brad, but he storms back into camp and tries to throw me under the bus. And that kind of stuff is part of why me and Brad just didn't get along. It's like everything I was doing, it seemed like he thought it was something negative towards him when really I never came for Brad.
Who did you see as being in your alliance, and who was your ideal final three?
The only person I had a real alliance with was Cirie, and I didn't care who the third person was as long as it was not Sarah. I felt like Sarah was she had a volatile type of way she went about things. Like if she felt like something was going wrong, she'd flip the whole plan up. And so a lot of people tipped around on eggshells trying to not make Sarah feel some type of way to keep her vote going a certain way. And I'd rather play with people who are, going on a more logical, even keel path than one to change their mind on a whim and then it's all over the place. So the only person I had full trust in was Cirie, and I was open to anybody else filling that spot, honestly, but Sarah.
What about that moment you had with Ty? Did that didn't end up building into anything?
No, it didn't. And the thing is, I love Ty. Outside the game, Ty is amazing. He's a very sweet person, but inside the game, he has the same conflict that I have between your heart and your head. But the problem with Ty is that he changes his mind way too frequently, and so frequently that you cannot reliably rely on him to make a decision or to stick with a decision. And that's not something that you can't trust that in a game like Survivor, especially when you get low in numbers and one person changing something as you saw, can result in me going home.
Explain more to us about what Cirie said she was trying to accomplish by taking Sarah's vote and getting rid of Ty.
So, Cirie genuinely felt that Ty was coming after Sarah. And she genuinely felt that taking Sarah's vote, to use it to vote for Ty, was the best way to get Ty voted off. I do not know why she felt like that was the best way to accomplish that. I do not know why she felt so pressed to save Sarah when Sarah would have been a great candidate to send home. But she did. So that part of Cirie's actions were really genuine. The reason Cirie felt like Ty was coming after Sarah, because he was. There was a whole group of people who wanted to vote for Sarah, but they couldn't feel confident in the numbers they had because certain people changed their minds too much. And so, Cirie's trying to protect Sarah, and Sarah felt like Cirie was trying to vote her off. And then Sarah did exactly what my fear was for Sarah to do, which was make an emotional, crazy decision. And that decision definitely advanced her game, but it took away mine.
Was Aubrey in on the plan as well?
Which plan?
The plan to get rid of Ty and...
Yeah, Aubrey was in on that plan because Aubrey knew that it was either Ty or her, because Sarah didn't trust Aubrey, and Cirie didn't trust Ty. So it was like, whose third person is going to work in this situation? And it turned out Ty got to stay.
What all was being said during Whisperfest?
The Whisperfest was a bunch of names getting tossed around. Ty's name was tossed, Aubrey's name was tossed, my name was tossed, Cirie's name was tossed. Probably everybody but Brad and Troy's and Sarah's name were tossed.
How long did all that whispering go on?
I felt like that went on for a while. There were a couple different episodes of the whispering. And it settled, and then it come back up again, and then it settled, and it's like, wait a minute, I don't know what I'm supposed to vote because I've heard too many names. And it was just a lot. Mentally exhausting to be in that moment.
What did Sarah whisper to you just before the vote?
Sarah whispered vote Ty.
And why do you think she chose you instead of Cirie?
I think that she chose me because she looked at me as more of a physical threat. And a physical threat at that point in the game has a shot of solidifying their spot at the end just by winning immunity. Cirie is nobody's threat. If everybody just voted against her friend and all she has is potentially Aubrey, then what's the point? You could always get rid of her next. But if you keep me in the game and you think I'm working with Cirie, which I was, and I win some immunities, then that means Cirie is now in my pocket and I'm a pair again. And you don't want to have a pair when you only have 6 people left in the game.
Did Sarah tell Troy and Brad to vote for you too?
Of course. Sarah told everybody exactly how to vote that day, and they did exactly what she said.
Why did you and Cirie think that Ty had an idol?
Why did we think he had an idol?
Yeah.
Well, I personally wasn't sure about where the idols were. I wasn't really thinking about where the idols were at that time. Cirie, I don't think she was thinking about any idols either, because it wouldn't have made sense to try to vote for Ty in such a strange way if she felt like some idols were there. So I just think she was trying to protect Sarah and using an advantage to protect Sarah, and she just had a miscalculation. But I don't think the thought of idols came into play at that moment.
Was there anything else interesting discussed at Tribal that we didn't get to see?
I think they pretty much showed the gist. It was like, my whole pitch was just everybody stay calm and do what we said we were going to do coming in here. And that, at that time, that vote was Aubrey. And I didn't think that was the smartest vote, but if it's a vote that gets me back to camp, then cool. So that's what that was.
Did you know Sarah also had the legacy advantage?
Yeah, she told me about both of her advantages. She's very upfront sometimes, and so I knew she had it, and it's just one of those things, just like I knew Jay had an idol and didn't say anything. I knew Sarah had an advantage and didn't say anything, because I don't believe in spoiling somebody else's game because they spoiled mine. However, I think when it comes to winning $1 million, I need to learn how to stop trying to be the one who doesn't spoil things and be the type of person who uses any information that I have to advance myself in the game. And I'm just not there yet.
So at this point, who would you like to see win, and what criteria will you use to make your vote?
Well, my criteria is based on this season being called Game Changers. I'm looking at who made the most moves that actually impacted the trajectory of the game. And I feel like there are only 2 people at this point who can even remotely fit that category. So we'll see if those 2 people make it to the end and, go from there.
So you're looking at basically Cirie and Sarah.
I don't know. If they're the only ones that fit the categories, then maybe so.
Okay.
Did you have any injuries while you were out there or health issues after you got back?
Yeah. While I was out there, I fainted one time, and I just learned I need to stand up very slowly. I also stepped on something, and I actually had an infection in the bottom of my foot. So if you look at my Ponderosa video, when I'm getting weighed and stuff, you can see like a Band-Aid or something on the bottom of my foot because I was actually really infected, and I had to take antibiotics for that. And then it was just I just lost a lot of weight. You just have to eat a certain way to make your body get back used to functioning. So that's why I ate salad when I was out of the game.
Who did you help the most this time in the game?
Who did I help the most?
Yes.
Let's see, who did I help the most? I would say, as far as up to this point, like merged to this point, I was helpful to Cirie in the sense that I was a person she could 100% trust, and she didn't have to worry about me going behind her back or anything like that. I think me being on the jury, I'm going to help somebody win $1 million because for certain people to put me on the jury and then make it to final three is horrible jury management. And so by the time we get to tomorrow, next week, I'll be able to fully answer that question.
All right. And who helped you the most?
Who helped me the most, hands down, in this game? Sandra the first half of the game and Cirie the second half of the game. Both of those two people, above being willing to talk to me, they taught me lessons about this game to take into my life. And they were willing to open up a little bit to me, kind of show me the ropes a little bit, because I am young. I'm a little rough around the edges. This is not my normal environment. I'm still growing. And these are mature women who understand where I am in life, and they understand my struggle, and they've been through it before, and they're both mothers as well. And they were able to give me some mentorship that no one else was willing to or able to give me in that game. And so I appreciate them 100%.
What did your mentor ask you once you got back?
How was it? Are you ready to get back to work? And that's kind of what it was. And honestly, I wasn't ready. I tried, but I didn't get my mind back to a good spot until about March of this year. So it took a while. You know, if you take 5 months of your life and you're living this other type of lifestyle in this environment of manipulation and deceit, like a cave woman, stinky and dirty, you don't just come back to America and just jump back into regular life. It took a while for me to just debrief and breathe and figure out what I want to do next, and then process season 33, and then be in the midst of season 34 and be okay with it. So now that I'm feeling like everything's getting back to normal, I'm super excited about the finale, but I'm also super excited just to get back to regular life. I'm grateful for the experience, but, you know, all good things come to an end, and my Survivor time is coming to an end for the time being.
Was there anything you wish had been shown about you on the show that didn't get aired?
At this moment, I can't think of anything. I think the producers did a masterful job of showing my struggle out there on the island. I think they showed my high points, you know, the good parts about me as far as being competitive, being a team player, being intelligent, being articulate, being loyal, being caring. Then they also show the places, you know, where I have room for growth, you know, and that's learning how to find the good in the bad situations, learning how to navigate social situations with better tact, learning how to, you know, deal with the pressures of certain situations in a productive way. And I'm appreciative that they were able to show, you know, the great and the room for growth, because that translates into my real life, and I've been able to apply some of those things to my real life, and I'm working on the things that I need to get better at.
What doors has Survivor opened for you?
Doors Survivor has opened, there's lots of people that probably wouldn't talk to me, or a person that looks like me or sounds like me, but they run up to me on the street and say hello. So I think that's a good thing, just being someone that people probably in real life wouldn't relate to, but now feel comfortable enough to try to relate to somebody like me. So I think that's good.
What's next for you?
What's next? Well, I have a job now. I still have my travel business. I'm excited to get back into focusing on that. I'm excited to, I don't need to travel as much as I used to. 2016 was full of travel. But but I'm just ready to move into the next phase of my life and be great at something, and I'm excited about it.
Well, Michaela, thank you for sharing with us today, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, bye-bye now.
All righty, bye-bye.